The wait is finally over. World of Dance is here.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AfterBuzz TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
Welcome on into AfterBuzz. I'm Kristyn Burtt, and I am so excited to be here for week 1 of World of Dance. Now, you guys, I'm going to introduce the panel because this is our very first week, and it's TK and I have worked together before, but we haven't seen everyone. We've got a brand new person here on the panel. TK, take it away. You're not new.
What are you talking about? Hey guys, my name is TK Trinidad. You can find me on everything at TK Trinidad. And thanks for the shout outs in advance. You guys have been hitting us up on Twitter a couple days before tonight, so really appreciate it. And hop on that live chat.
Now we're getting to our newbie, Becky.
Hello, what's up, everyone? My name is Becky, and you can find me on Facebook and Instagram at Becky Sattero. I'm so honored to be here with you, ladies.
And me as well. Hello, I'm Rayven Nicole. You can find me on all social media channels at Rayven Nicole.
Now, Rayven, you are stepping in this week, right?
Yeah, sorry, I should have said that. I'm stepping in. But I'm honored still.
We love having you here. We love having you here.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us this week. Amy, I think, will be back next week.
Yeah.
She will be. She's in Texas.
Yes. Well, let's kick it off because there's so much to talk about, and I think that this is a really fresh entry on the dance competition scene. And I'm just going to get your initial thoughts at the beginning of the season, and maybe we'll ask the same question at the end of the season. But how do you think this is going to affect other dance competition shows? We just came off of Dancing with the Stars last week, and I tweeted out just kind of as a joke, like, Dancing with the Stars, you're on notice. I'm watching you.
Yeah.
What do you think?
I love the fact that it's only an hour. Like, I do want to see more, but like, I love that it's only an hour and you see the best of the best. Yeah. You know, I was kind of expecting almost like, you know, a couple William Hungs scattered in there, but I'm glad you didn't see that. So I really enjoyed it. It was the performances were absolutely amazing.
I agree. They definitely are taking it to the next level in terms of the Olympics. They said it's the Olympics of dance, and I have to agree too. And I love that they did the 3 different levels of competition. We're going to see any age, different. Any style.
Yeah.
It's going to be big.
And I think other dance competitions are going to want to step it up because this was like, whoa.
Yeah, and I think there's a place for all, you know, Dancing with the Stars. There's a place for that. There's a place for So You Think You Can Dance. But it does make me, like, if I were a producer of either of those shows, I'd be like, I'm watching you.
Exactly.
A little side eye.
I would tune in.
Let's just quickly go over some of the rules because these are very different than what we've ever seen before. So as you mentioned, junior, upper, and team are the 3 divisions.
Yep.
Any age, any style. The scoring and the judging, I think, is really refreshing.
Different. Yeah.
Yes.
There's 5 categories.
Yeah.
Performance, technique,
choreography, creative, and presentation.
Yeah.
Perfect.
0 to 20.
Which I really love because they mentioned too that because there's so many different age levels and just different styles with the groups and, you know, the single dancers, it gives them a platform to be able to judge accurately because everything is so different. You know, each style is so different.
And then you have to get over an 80, which is like, oh, okay.
Yeah, that's the threshold to make it to the next round.
Exactly, yeah.
I think it takes off the bias from it as well. Like, you have to do those categories. So it's refreshing because now the judges are looking at all these different elements versus off of, you know, they might have had an emotional day, so they might have connected to that dance emotionally versus the technique. So I love the breakdown of it.
Definitely.
Yeah, because judging is always subjective, but I think creating those micro categories makes it a little bit more fair. I mean, that's in my opinion.
I agree.
Yeah.
And that's one of my biggest complaints about Dancing with the Stars. Sometimes I'm like, are you kidding me?
Right. Yeah.
All right, well, let's get into it, and we'll start with the very first performance, which was Super Crew. And I'm just going to give you guys just a little bit of history on this so everyone knows, because some of these people you have seen before. Season 2, they were America's Best Dance Crew winners. We're going back to 2008.
Wow, I didn't know that.
And there were 3 crews that came together, Battle Monkeys, Full Force Crew, and Knucklehead Zoo. And they actually have a partnership with the Jabberwockies.
Okay, that's why.
They're both out of Las Vegas.
Yeah,
we're gonna see later.
I see similarities.
Yeah.
Yes, and we're going to see the
them
Jabberwockies later in the season. And when the 2 groups perform together, they call themselves Super Walkies. So just so you guys kind of have a little idea of that, what are your thoughts on the performance?
Amazing.
Yeah.
And they danced to Coldplay, Viva La Vida, my favorite song from them. So I was like tuned in.
It's interesting too that Neo said that it was like water because I wrote in my notes how the fluidity of their movements were so insane, and they had that circle movement where they literally just flowed into one another, just so precise.
It didn't feel like it felt like dance, but it didn't feel like dance. Like it didn't feel like it. you know, because of the moves, they spent hours, days, months creating this.
Yeah.
But it felt so fluid, it didn't even feel like a dance.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
It felt like
it
a
was-
production.
Yeah,
like
it was amazing.
Yeah,
Well, and can we talk about that they were from all over the world too?
that too. Yeah,
They're from Las Vegas, but each
Brazil, yeah.
Venezuela.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, and it's, when you look at B-Boy, you have to look at things like the flares and the flips. Those are some of the important elements to the dance. And remember, you have to find some unison with that, and that's really difficult and challenging to do. And I think Neo was the one that pointed this out, that it looks so simple.
Yeah.
It's not.
No.
Not at all.
And that's what you
So
need
many
to look
people,
for.
too.
Yes.
Yeah,
Sure.
yeah.
Yeah, and when you have a crew and things like that, you're looking at elements that are very different in rehearsal, because you are trying to look at those fine points and details. It's not like, okay, you can kind of do what you want over here and you can do what you want over here. That is not allowed.
Yeah.
Not at all. Yeah.
For sure. And then scoring, and this is kind of where we saw they were pretty even on the first score on this one, but Neo gave 87, J-Lo an 88, and Derek an 89, so the average was 88. But I love, and I saw this in an interview, I guess Neo is the toughest judge.
Yes.
That's what
I
they
saw
that
said.
too.
Yeah, and we're starting to see that
I
as
see
we go
it.
through.
Yeah, yeah.
And I thought that was interesting. I thought maybe Derek.
I thought so too.
I did
I thought
too.
Derek
I
would
totally
be.
thought Derek-
Yeah, but
100%.
I know Neil's a great dancer, but I didn't get a chance to look up. Does he have formal dance training?
I believe he does.
He does.
He
I
does.
believe he does. Yeah.
They all have elements of dance training,
Right.
all from different styles. And I think that's what makes it a really diverse and welcome panel, because, when you have someone representing ballroom, you've got J-Lo, who can pretty much do it all.
Right.
Yeah.
And she's going to be Mama Bird for sure.
Oh yeah. For
Oh,
sure.
yeah, she is so the mother hen,
So
which I
the
absolutely love.
Yes.
Let's move on to the next couple. And this is D'Angelo and Amanda.
Oh my gosh.
I know.
They were-
Ballroom.
They were so good.
And they're in the youth division.
Yes.
Again, for people that watch So You Think You Can Dance, familiar faces and familiar names. They're trained by Manny Castro, Marion Laurie Castro. If you guys watched So You Think You Can Dance last season, his little sister Ruby Castro was one of the contestants.
Oh, wow.
Miami is a hotbed of talent
Yes.
when it comes to dancing, and what Manny Castro is really known for is he and his wife are known for taking Latin dance and combining it with like ballet and jazz, and that's where you saw that influence with
did.
them.
Yeah.
We did absolutely see that. And I think their song choice, Run Boy Run, was perfect. It gave us, I think Derek had actually said we had a little bit of Paso Doble in there. Oh, it just, such a amazing perfect flow to that dance.
Yeah, perfect is the word.
No,
Yeah.
literally.
I wanted a little more
And
hips
then
though.
when he she dropped and he caught her
Yeah.
With his foot.
with his foot.
That was.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think what was noticeable, and Derek pointed this out, and I had written it too. I said extension. Ballroom dancers are not usually known for their extension. They do lovely lines, and it's usually like 90 degrees.
Yeah.
They don't usually do the 180.
Yeah.
When she did that, I was like, oh.
Yeah, a few times. It's like,
Yeah,
oh, okay.
she
Gotcha.
was-
And that's when you're getting like that ballet and jazz and fusion
Exactly.
right in there. And, I'm interested to see, because they did make it to the next round, I'm interested to see what else they can bring, because are they bringing in more ballet and jazz into this to make it a little bit different, or are they really representing ballroom?
Right.
Does
I feel
it
like
have
they're
to
gonna.
be?
Yeah, that's true. Right.
It is any style. Can you step outside your style? Especially
feel
when
like-
you're cross-trained.
I feel
that's
like
their
you can.
wheelhouse though.
Yeah.
That's
I mean,
where
I
their
feel like they're
fans-
always going to stick to ballroom, but
Right.
because of how they said the extension and all that, I
Right.
feel like they're going to bring more of that.
Yeah, and I think especially with the ballroom, if they seem like we saw a few tricks like where she dropped down, or even when they did the double cartwheel together.
Right.
I mean, that's only the beginning.
They
I have a
showcased.
feeling it's gonna be
Yeah.
some.
I think
and
they're-
once they start hitting that, plus all the moves, and if they add the hip action.
Yep,
it's a lot.
think
I wanted more hips. I was with Derek for sure. I felt like D'Angelo did outdance Amanda a smidge. I don't know.
She
just
hasn't got her,
just a
she hasn't
smidge.
got her hips yet.
Right. She's a junior.
Hips don't lie.
I don't think any Derek fan complained tonight when he did his little hip
Oh,
hop.
no.
Yeah, no, that was awesome.
Nobody. I think I heard the screams from all the way across the country.
Right.
Touche.
But and you know what? I am interested though in what they bring next, because this was such a powerful performance. I almost want them to do a 180 and do something really soft and pretty and
like
lyrical, and I
that.
bet they can.
I bet they will.
They can do it.
I love that idea.
Scoring on this one, this was pretty close too. Derek was an 87, J-Lo an 88, and Neo a 90.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was high.
This was his generous one, I guess,
Yeah.
and 88.3. And it is kind of interesting when they're doing the judging that you can kind of see them punching in numbers.
And it was like they're on like an iPad or something.
Yeah.
So
Computer,
cool.
yeah, it's a computer screen in the table.
I like that there's a little, we're not seeing full scores, but a little more
little more,
transparency
yeah.
and things like that. I think
100%.
that is so important. And let's run into one more couple, and then we'll talk about some delicious food.
Yes.
Okay.
Love food.
Let's talk about Lace Twins
Oh my
because
gosh.
these guys are huge. And I don't know if a lot of people know, they are World of Dance babies. And I'm not talking about the TV show, I'm talking about the tour. They are kind of homegrown. They've been doing the tour all around the globe. And the World of Dance tour, which travels across the country, they're the ones that really brought them to the forefront. And then Beyonce picked them up because World of Dance is amazing, and they really video everyone's performances. They throw them up there on YouTube. The audience is there. That's where they're getting millions and millions of hits. And I was wondering, because Lay Twins to me are just they're already up here.
Yeah.
How do you get any higher?
Right.
Do they win right away? Like that's
I don't know. We've got
However, from Dance with the Stars, Heather
Morris.
She was with Beyonce. She toured with Beyonce, and she didn't make it to the finals.
Now the audience has no influence on voting in this show, so it's all up to the judges. But it is one of those things I want to keep my eye on, and how are the judges going to push them as they move through the rounds?
So that it can go further.
their expectation is going to be so high, like you said, because they're already so amazing. Yeah, I mean, but we also haven't seen the new acts that are coming up.
I think too might be what might be the problem too is because they've been doing their own thing for so long, and they've got so much clout and recognition from that.
Yeah.
If somebody steps in and says, well, why don't you try this, or why don't you go this direction, or whatever, they might not take that criticism, and that might take them out of the game too. So
They have such a unique style, that is for sure.
Yeah.
Well, and I think Neo pointed out that it was a very emotional performance out of them. So there's something different. They are going to have to deliver something different because they've got people nipping at their heels every single week. And it's not just people in their genre, it's people outside their genre. So it will be interesting to see if they're able to grow more.
Yeah.
And I think that's going to be what we need to keep our eye on.
yeah.
And I mean, this performance, I had never seen them do something like this, so that was like a plus.
It's a smart move, though.
Yeah, like the whole story, like they usually are, just doing their freestyle thing,
Yeah.
but like making it connect. But this was like a story, so it was great.
Because at the end, I was like, what are they looking at?
Right, yeah.
But like, I know there's something going on. Please.
That girl's going to be so sad she dumped him.
I know, right?
Although she gave him art. She gave him art and creativity.
Yes, isn't that amazing?
Isn't that how it always happens?
Right.
Yeah.
It is.
And we wouldn't have had that story in that dance today, right?
That's right. Tough times. This is when art thrives.
Yeah.
Yes.
Always.
You know what also can make me, well, that's a different situation, but I was going to say,
Where are we going with that one?
tough times makes me hungry. That's what I was going to say.
Yes.
Let's segue into that.
I'm hungry. Well, we do know that Denny's is America's favorite place for breakfast.
It is. Breakfast, lunch, and dinner, so you can get everything 24/7.
That's right.
Any time of the week.
And they're doing online ordering, you guys. So when you're sad and you have your breakup, you get off the
French
phone,
fries.
get online. And
So very new thing. You're absolutely right. Denny's on demand.
yes.
So
Denny's on demand.
you can go online, order it. You can get takeout, delivery, all that great stuff at your fingertips. Especially like the mozzarella.
Oh my gosh. And hash
mozzarella
browns.
sticks.
Oh my gosh, Kristyn said hash
And the
browns.
pancakes. You can't go wrong with pancakes.
Ever.
Yeah. And then the strawberry lemonade.
Ooh, I've never had that.
Oh my
man.
gosh.
So we go in there after,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
Right.
Because it's 24 hours.
Doing that?
So now, if you do the Denny's on demand, the cool thing that they're doing is that you can, if you sign up for it, you get a 60-day trial for Hulu.
Ooh.
So, didn't you guys have Hulu?
I
Handmaid's
love Hulu.
Tale.
Oh my gosh.
Yes. Handmaid's Tale, guys. You should be watching
so,
that.
So good.
It's
I just
incredible.
binge watched Queen Sugar on that
Queen
spot too,
Sugar,
and then
so
pretty
good.
much any show that on Hulu. If you don't have Hulu, anyways, if you don't have Hulu, anything that you see today, you'll see within 24 hours,
Yes.
and that's an amazing thing. Other than some other networks.
Indeed.
And
It's a win-win situation.
yeah. So you get Denny's and then you get Hulu for 60 days, not even 30.
60.
That's
But this is for a limited time only. So
limited time.
Yes. So you guys, with Denny's on demand, new online ordering, your favorite diner favorites are right there at your fingertips. So visit Denny's.com and click to order online or download the Denny's app.
Hey, makes
I
me
know.
hungry.
Sounds good. Doesn't
Sounds
it?
great.
Hash browns
Hash browns.
on AfterBuzz.
That is
Yes.
my favorite. Hash browns, toast, and bacon. I don't like eggs.
I don't know.
Hash browns, toast, and
I was
bacon.
gonna say you
Isn't that
gotta
weird?
add the eggs in
Oh,
there.
the eggs
I know,
are
I don't
good.
need
Then
eggs.
it's a perfect combo.
Egg whites, at least.
No. She's like, no.
Well, let's take it to the
So LA,
next level.
egg whites and spinach. Let's do it.
Now let's talk about the next contestant because this kind of was outside the box. They said clogging, and I went, what?
Yeah. I did not know what they were
Next
talking
level, they are performing in Myrtle Beach, so they are professional. And I loved that this was a group of men because we normally see female cloggers. And Derek was right. He said, you know, it looks like I want to go out and have a beer with these guys, but they were rugged, they were masculine. It was really, it was really spot on. I think that the work that they did.
Yeah,
I wasn't a fan. Sorry.
I liked it, but I almost wish. I mean, obviously, I can't change the whole genre, but it was almost like tap. Like that might have changed the concept.
I agree.
They were compared to everybody else thus far.
It just didn't do it
make me.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely think the score was justified.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it's important for us to see, so that way we can see what the standard is.
Yeah.
Because this is a group that's obviously working professionally,
Right.
and doing a great
And they
job.
have their own
Yeah,
show,
yeah.
Thunder and Light. If
Right.
anybody's in South Carolina, Thunder
Yeah,
and Light.
Myrtle Beach is a great place to visit. And that's the thing. Like, we need to be like, okay, so this is what they're looking for, even though it's something outside the box.
Right.
Even they needed to step it up a
Yes,
level.
I agree.
100%.
And hey, maybe this will inspire people to see the show, because that's the thing. If you're in Myrtle Beach and you're like, oh my gosh, I saw them on World of
Right.
Dance.
Yeah.
It gets people to open their eyes, try something different, see the show, and really that's at the
Or
end of
take
the
up
day-
clogging.
Or take up
There
clogging.
you go.
I know. Would that inspire a bunch of young boys to go take clogging?
Right. Yeah. Maybe.
Maybe. You never know. And so this one I was really interested to see how the scores were going to go. Derek gave it an 80, 78 for J-Lo, and Neo was a 73. I was like,
I know. I was like,
he wasn't feeling it.
Not at all.
Not at all.
I was with him though.
We saw his tough side.
Yeah.
Yeah, we certainly did.
And it was too short. I think I don't know. I don't know if they're editing it, because some dances felt like how it cut. There was more to it that we didn't get to see.
Yeah.
I'm not sure, but I think if they showed if they had a little bit more time to show more, maybe they would have got better scores. I don't know if they would have made it to the next round, but it just felt too short. Like, you saw
I
2
absolutely
tricks,
agree.
I agree.
and it's like, okay, now
was
you're
just
done.
like-
It's like, oh,
Right.
all
Right. That's it.
Well, this poses a question, and I'm going to ask you guys. This show was taped. It was done in January and February, and I have to say, I can't believe that the winner has not been leaked
Me
somewhere.
neither. Yeah.
I've tried, you guys, to find out who it is. I know a couple people that participated in the show and did not make it. I cannot find out who the winner is. No one's leaking right now, but I'm going to try. But the shows were taped. We're so used to live shows with Dancing with the Stars, So You Think You Can Dance, America's Got Talent. How do you feel so far with the tape show? Does it bug you, not bug you?
It doesn't bother me.
It doesn't bother me at all.
I'm still hooked in, and I want to tune in every week.
Again, it goes back to that whole
She.
concise, show me the dancers.
Give the people what they
yeah,
want.
I agree.
Yeah, just
Sure.
show me the creativity, show me the dancers, give me the scores. I guess that's just more of my personality. I can't do, I love Dancing with the Stars, but coming to the finale when it was 3 hours, I'm
It's
like,
a lot of fluff.
Yeah.
Dude, I
I'm the
can't.
same way.
Yeah.
My attention span is
yeah, it's just and you just show me the content. So I do like it. I hope, I don't know if at that coming towards the end, if we do get a chance. Well, it's fully taped, so never mind then. I hope maybe I definitely see it going on to another season where you don't necessarily need the audience participation the day of, but we actually get to vote.
Yeah, I
more
think
the
that's important.
semifinals or something like that.
I feel like that involvement with the fans is a huge deal. That's why I was a little bit taken back by this format, but it's unique because we don't have that right now. So, and maybe it's just, speaking to that diehard dance crew.
And it was a scheduling decision. Obviously, you have top level judges, and Jenna as well as working a lot in the industry, trying
Jenna
to get
needs
this.
to talk though. Dude.
I know.
Yeah, they didn't showcase her enough.
But their schedules, they weren't able to align to have live shows, so they kind of just said for the first season, let's just try and see what happens. And I think that they're going to kind of make a decision whether to keep it live or tape for season 2. I will tell you that NBC is so high in the show. If you guys didn't see all of the promotion everywhere, it's been in our face around LA. They pretty much have in their minds are already thinking ahead to a season 2 for all of them.
It's so different. It's almost like when The Voice debuted. It was so different, but but the same, but different. Same thing. So I definitely see. We need something like that where you get the best of the best.
Yeah. And I don't know if you guys saw Jennifer posted an Instagram video with all of the judges dancing, and it was sick. Like, I was like, I have to watch it because the judges can dance and like
They
are amazing.
can dance.
Yes.
And that is
they
another thing. There was no time for them to do a dance on the show. We're not getting it this season.
Right.
So that is why they did
that's
that.
why they did it. And it was, I was like, whoa.
So hopefully in season 2 they plan for
They're
a dance.
mentoring though, right?
Yeah.
We're gonna see that later on.
Yeah, and primarily it is Jenna Dewan mentoring. And then behind the scenes, you guys, Nappy Tabs, Napoleon and Tabitha, they are co-executive producers on the show. So they've been doing a lot of mentoring. To Sandra Chavez is behind the scenes. Gustavo Vargas is behind the scenes.
Ooh, amazing.
There are so many people that familiar in the dance world that are behind the scenes coaching some of these groups to make sure their choreography is on point and things like that.
Wonderful.
So we'll keep each week. We'll kind of talk a little bit more and more about that. So 77 in total for Next Level.
Yeah.
I think we were all in agreement. I think we all felt it. Yeah. But I do wonder, I would love to know timing of the dances because that one did feel
It
short.
was absolutely short.
Yeah.
That was edited 100%.
Yeah, we'll have to figure that out. I'll sleuth around this week. Get the answer. And maybe the winner.
And the winner.
And the
You're
winner.
doing a lot of
I'm the worst.
Watch out for Kristyn on the streets.
Well, the twins have been like almost doing like a I know they're helping to promote it, but I see in LA in particular, I saw them doing more interviews than a lot of other folks. I don't know if it's a timing thing or.
And there's a couple of 3 or 4 dancers or partners and crews that are traveling in the World of Dance tour right now. And I've been trying to figure out if that has anything to do with placement or things like that. Because I interviewed this one couple, they're amazing, Luca and Jenna Lynn. They do ballroom cabaret. Wow. Wait till you guys see it. I saw it in person when they were here in LA, and I was like, holy cow. So, and they're traveling around a lot, and I'm like,
We will find out.
Interesting.
yes. And hopefully NBC will, if I find out, they won't yell at me. Fox yells at me all the time. I spoil things for So You Think. So, okay, let's go on to Keone and Mari. Another group familiar to So You Think You Can Dance viewers. They became huge on YouTube. Nigel Lithgow brought them on as choreographers.
Yes.
Obviously, we know they're married, and their work is so special.
So special.
So unique.
Yeah, I was definitely glued into them.
Yeah, it was that. Well, they showed the little part in the commercial, and it didn't dawn on me who they were because I just saw the commercial. I'm like, oh man, they're gonna go that route, like show the people who screw up. And then they did it. I'm like, oh wait,
Right, yeah.
And then they did it again. I'm like,
right.
no. Okay, stop the music. Like you guys don't need to be on stage. And then it's just like how it was so. It didn't feel like it was they were acting, but obviously you knew they were.
Yeah.
Like it was so fluid.
So good.
It was a really great performance.
Well, and that's exactly it. When you have those categories that we were talking about with judging, this is when performance really matters. When creativity. Yeah.
Yes. They
And
excelled.
they brought that.
They excelled at
They brought
creativity
that.
100%. I felt like it was so palpable.
Yeah.
I loved it. 100%. Oh man.
Well, and if
Couldn't
you
get
look at
enough.
their style too, they infused elements of swing. They were wearing
Yes.
swing costumes.
Yeah.
And then you see swing elements, but then they're isolating their bodies in ways, and you're like, this is so genius.
Yeah.
So much. And then they talked about musicality, and we all definitely agree with that. The musicality was on point.
Yeah, it was a great performance. Even if I'm sure anybody who's watching this or watching the show is familiar with their whole like Justin Bieber video.
Yeah.
Like that video.
Wow.
And I know people don't even watch music videos like they do like back in the day. Like that video was just so on point as far as the words, how they went from room to room. Like it was amazing. Like you haven't seen anything like that.
Would they say billion billion
Yeah,
viewers?
it was crazy. Well, because Justin, when he came to LA and he premiered his new CD, which is now old, of course, he showed that video, and I just thought he like produced it, and it's like, yeah, no,
Wow.
it's amazing, and their performance was on point, and they're married,
Yeah.
and then they got us with the whole
They
family
did.
thing.
Family,
They got
yes.
us.
Of
And
course.
that's-
Line and sync.
That was actually what I was thinking. I was like, I wonder if they have any kids. Like, how are they dance? Like, how are they doing all that? Because all that takes time. It's like, how are they doing all that? And like, they must not have
Oh my
kids.
gosh,
Yeah.
maybe they could come back on like season 12 with like their whole family.
Oh my
Right.
gosh,
so
like the
cute.
Von Trapp
Love
family or
it.
something.
Right? Oh, they'll be dancing.
Well, I'll tell you, Nappy Tabs, they have a son, London. He's about 4, and he's already a killer dancer.
I'm
He
sure.
just did toddlerography on James Corden.
Oh my god.
You have to see it.
I can't
But
take
I'm
it.
sure.
they
I
bring
can't
him
take it.
everywhere. He's just like the little backstage choreographer and director,
Yeah.
and I think he's absorbing so much of their
Oh yeah,
creativity.
he
yeah.
can pick up
Sure.
everything.
I'm sure.
There's a friend of mine. He's he former football player. Now he like owns a gym, does this CrossFit weightlifting thing. His daughter is maybe 3. She can jump up almost on this table.
Oh my god.
And he's like show the progression of when she
Wow.
started, like before she was 1, and now the points. Like kids just they emulate what
All
they
in the
see,
family.
which is amazing. Which if you are into health and fitness or just lifestyle, like just bring it around
Bring it
them.
around, yeah.
Absolutely.
They'll either like it or not, but they'll figure something out.
Right.
So.
It may spawn another idea and take him in another direction.
Indeed.
You never
Indeed.
know. Their scores: Derek 87, Neo 85, and JLo 83. JLo was the harsh.
Yeah.
I wonder what that was about.
Especially because it
Expectation.
seemed like she connected with the whole family thing. Like she kind of got teary-eyed. So
Yeah.
I was kind of like,
So their combined score obviously was 85 in total, but definitely a couple to watch. I mean, I would be surprised if they don't make it closer to the end.
Yeah.
They'll make it far.
They'll make
Yeah,
it far.
they're definitely going to make it far. They've got a great reputation too. And if you
Yeah.
guys have not seen their YouTube videos, they've got a huge presence on YouTube. They are a must to check out.
Yeah.
Another familiar crew, the Kinjas.
Yes. From LA.
From
Love
LA.
them.
They perform a lot in LA.
Yes.
They're around a lot. Season 8 of America's Best Dance Crew, they were the runners up. And of course, Quest Crew won that season. And Quest Crew, they just won an Emmy this past year
Yeah.
for America's
Yeah, they
Best
did.
Dance Crew for
Wow.
choreography.
Wow.
So
That's awesome.
and I just want to say with the Emmy categories, what I think is really fascinating is that we're starting to see the voters step outside the box of Dancing with the Stars. And so you think
Sure.
the two, there was a tie. It was Quest Crew and it was Catherine Burns from Crazy Ex-Girlfriend.
Wow.
So comedic, episodic
Yes.
television. So I love that.
Good stuff.
And one more thing about the Emmys. When I interviewed Derek last week, Derek Hough, and Derek Hough, have you heard of him?
She said Derek.
Derek
Right,
Hough.
right.
Have you heard of him?
No big deal.
No big
I know.
deal.
No big deal.
But he said he said the routines that he has seen this year on World of Dance are to him are Emmy worthy. A lot of them.
Wow.
And he's a 2-time Emmy winner. So to me,
That's,
he knows. He
Yeah.
knows what it
No.
takes to
Yep.
win an Emmy.
Yeah. That's amazing.
All right, let's get back to the Kinjas.
Oh.
Really special performance.
Yeah.
What are your initial thoughts?
The first thing I thought was like Jabberwockies.
Yeah.
Obviously.
It reminded me.
But yeah, it's just same level. Like the little details, like the fingers and all this like little stuff, and for it to translate on television, for you to see all those elements, like that's because you have people who perform and they you have them perform on stage or on TV, and you're just like, okay, well, they're just performing, like they're just going through the motions. But they have to almost exaggerate every move for us to
Yes.
notice it while we're watching TV.
Yeah.
Like that's intentional. Whoever choreographed it, that's like intentional. It's like, okay, we're gonna remove our fingers. Like, no, you have to.
Yeah.
Like the movement, it
And
was just
perfectly
amazing.
executed.
Oh,
I
gosh.
loved it, and I
Yeah.
love their blend
Yeah.
of martial arts, and they use their ninja
And the background,
The background was amazing,
sick.
yeah.
Like it just went perfectly.
It's like if you
Production,
did like
perfect.
a dancing version of Crouching Tiger. Hidden
Yes.
Dragon.
Yes.
Like
Yes.
the opening scene, and now everybody's gonna die.
Oh,
Through
it
dance.
was
Through
their
dance.
show,
Yeah.
100%. They took what they had and they made it their moment
Yeah.
for sure.
Definitely.
And what's interesting too is you think of the finger movements. The only other choreographer that used to pay attention to detail like that was Bob Fosse. Everything was about fingers and had to be precise. And Derek did point out that that's a rehearsal of just like finger movements.
movements. Literally.
Right?
I would
Nothing
drive me
else.
bananas.
Nothing else.
I'm not someone that has
Perfection.
a lot of patience for something.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. And like you said, had to be exaggerated.
Yeah.
So, I mean, their
Right.
fingers are
right.
Probably like some ibuprofen at the end of the day.
Right.
Oh,
Crazy.
If you take a look at, because we had Super Crew and then we had the Kinjas, which one would you guys place above the other?
Kinjas.
Kinjas.
For sure.
The
Because it was the
storyline.
full
their brotherhood.
Exactly.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just
100%.
wanna
And they just were the full package. Like
Yeah, and I just wanted to see the scoring difference too. So on the Kinjas, it was 89 for Neo, 92 for JLo, 92 for Derek. So they had a total of 91, and then it was 88 for Super
88.
Crew.
Yep.
I just felt like, I don't know how you guys felt, but just a little more united when they were up
Yeah.
there, and just felt like more of a core group.
Well, I think we as humans, we go by emotions.
Yes.
And the moment you start telling a story and you execute telling that story well, no matter if it's spoken word or dance or whatever, you know, you're going to pull some type of heartstrings, even though you might not, you know, associate yourself with that storyline. Like that in itself brings you in.
Yeah,
you
you're
know,
tapped in.
yeah. So if you have a dance where, you know, they're doing all the tricks and all this other stuff, that's amazing.
Right.
But if you have a story along with it,
right, then you're
I mean, it's like
you're
hands
glued
down.
in.
Yeah.
And you're mesmerized. I think that's what it is. Like you lock into them, and I don't think I moved. You know, I didn't check my phone.
I didn't.
Yeah. I was trying to make notes.
I know. I couldn't even write. I was just like, oh wow.
And that's one thing about the pace of the show. It is very quick, and even the packages, the intros. I was like, I mean, the scribble I have.
Yeah. right.
It is a very, very fast-paced show, and obviously it's very intentional. It's like, whap, we're gonna whack you over the head with this, and bam over here, and bam over here. And even the judges' comments are swift, but they're powerful, they're poignant.
Yes.
Well, it could be edited too. But I think what they want to do, given the time, and you know, they couldn't do it maybe how they wanted it to be done, almost give us everything that we can handle, but leave us wanting more. So now you want a
creative editing.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, and I have heard that a lot of the tapings went on a lot longer, obviously, than what we were seeing.
Right.
That because the judges were not agreeing, and oftentimes, like Derek said, you know, I thought one thing, and you know, Neo and J-Lo totally were on the opposite end, and they would start arguing over the performance. And I think that probably gets in the later rounds.
For sure.
Yeah,
When there's less people to
vote on, and you're getting to the nitty gritty of like, who are we gonna put in those final like top spots to compete?
Especially if the public's not voting, people are going to want to hear
hear more from the judges.
distinct opinions.
Yeah.
Which I don't know, that might be a backfire thing too. Like if you can't,
It could
we're so used to now giving our opinion on everything that now when you take away that, you're not invested in the show. So that might be something that's going to backfire.
I wonder
on
that
them.
too.
It's like, okay, well, I can't vote. I can't, you know, and I've seen these people in some way, shape, or form. Like, why do I need to watch? I can watch them on YouTube or whatever. And you know, so it's almost if you even take the Olympics, like how many people watch the entirety of the Olympics? Like I
only watch what I like.
Yeah, I watch you know, certain things that I like. It's like usually gymnastics, track, maybe basketball. But everything else is like,
Right.
But I do like to yell at the judges when I'm watching gymnastics, because sometimes I'm like, come on.
Yeah.
So maybe that's that's our interactive element. I don't know.
well, that's because you're invested,
Yeah.
right? But if you can't, you know, send an angry tweet or whatever,
Right.
then-
Well, they have a pretty profound YouTube following, so I think that they'll get those numbers in for sure.
And the Twitter feed will be, if you don't like it, I'm sure you're gonna let us know.
Right. We'll see it.
All right, yeah. So and the Kinjas, the unison work was outstanding. Again, as we mentioned, the average total was 91, and then we keep on going. You know, again, 7 contestants. Boom, 1 hour.
Yeah.
Diana Pombo and
She was
lots of history on this one, you guys, too. Another Miami girl, but she's out of Stars, and Stars produces amazing dancers in Miami. Victor Smalley, season 6 finalist on So You Think You Can Dance. He has created so many wonderful dancers, including season 11's winner, Ricky Ubeda. I love him. And Diana was made it to Academy last year, and So You Think You Can Dance. She was on Sasha's team, if you guys remember. So she is not unfamiliar to reality show audiences, and she delivered.
Yeah.
I thought they were gonna set us up for her not making it.
Yeah, you did
Like,
say that.
yeah,
You're
I was like,
she's not gonna make it.
She looked like she could deliver, but I was like, no, they wouldn't. Everybody but one.
Yeah.
Like that's not how we do TV.
Right.
But oh my gosh, the moment she started, I was like, okay, yeah, there's
Well, and
no
I mean,
way.
look at it. She's one girl having to compete against these huge groups that are so well known. I think she's just absolutely stellar.
Yeah.
I think she's going to make it so far.
Oh yeah, for sure. And she's young.
She's young.
So much
So
talent.
that made me like look at her even more like, wow,
Yeah.
you are amazing.
because you have to push yourself.
Yes.
Like even though
And to be
you know,
that young
yeah.
and want to do that.
And
Yeah.
she emoted the entire dance. She
Yeah.
was in it. It wasn't just her doing dance moves.
Yeah, no, I mean her
Definitely passionate.
passion, faces.
And they're known for their legs at Stars. Legs.
Oh, you
for
could so
days.
tell.
Legs for days.
So
So
over
could tell.
180. And I didn't even mention Victor and his partner Angel Armas, who also owns the Stars Dance Studio. They were the ones that did Dance Moms Miami. Do you remember that?
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Okay.
I'm like,
okay.
oh, I forgot one key element, you guys.
Yeah.
So
Oh,
Good.
Shout out to Debbie. Not I know, but
Yeah.
you know, she's
Yeah. We gonna
I know, poor Abby.
Poor Abby.
I'm like, "Rrr." But and again, interesting. I really want to see how these juniors progress,
Yes.
because they're younger. There's a lot of pressure.
Yeah.
Sometimes being younger, you don't realize the pressure, and then sometimes, if you're like that 16-year-old, you're starting to realize what pressure is.
Right.
She's young enough that it may just.
I was just going to say, maybe it'll go right over her head.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
for sure.
Well, they said it's the Olympics of dancing, that these people, no matter what age they are, they have all been almost vetted. Like the jitters are gone. Like they've done hours, in front of crowds, hours. They put in the work. So I don't think it's gonna be. I don't think the pressure is gonna be there. It's more of the product that they produce, and who's doing the choreography and all this other. I think it's gonna be more pressure on whoever that person is, and then how they present it. Like, I just don't think at this point, like, if you choke, that just doesn't even. It just, I don't know. I can't see it.
I also wonder, because I know that this was taped over probably about 6 weeks, January through February. I wonder how many routines they asked the contestants to have, like at least have 3 prepared. And I'll try and find that out too. Did you have 2 prepared, or were you like, okay, I advanced, now I need to come up with something else.
Right.
I'm sure you at least had another one in your pocket.
Sure. I'm sure at that level.
But if you're looking, at the competition, now that you've seen it, as a contestant, you think, I need to go back to the studio and I need to retool some of this. Or like our crew's going, we need to up our game and add more tricks.
I'm sure they are.
Yeah, I want to see, and they probably won't do it this season, but definitely almost like the American Idol-esque type thing, where it's like, okay, you have 48 hours to create something.
Yeah.
Like, I kind of want to see that, because now you're going to see, if you've practiced something, like the elements of it, then it's there anyway. So then you kind of insert it here, and then you create it. Like, I almost want to see that versus, spending months. I obviously want to see
something fresh.
Yeah, I want to
something
see
fresh.
the final product if you've done 3 months on it or whatever. But the thing within 48 hours, if you do that,
absolutely,
and then it comes out something like any of these performances, then that hands down is crazy.
Well, and as they start narrowing it down, it might help level the playing field too.
True.
Yeah, and I think that's the other thing. We're still unsure. Like, we're seeing everyone dance at a top level, but we're like, how is it going to work when you have one junior finalist, one upper finalist,
only
one
3
team?
for $1 million.
$1 million.
Yeah. So I don't know. I mean, I don't think I think they separated the categories to make it even in that way of things. But when it gets to the top 3, it's. I don't think age or what you do, is just how you perform.
How you perform.
So
And did you have a good day or a bad day?
Right.
We all have a bad day at the office.
Exactly.
We're not all perfect, like walking every single day. You can be out there on stage going, it was a tough moment, and I didn't deliver. Yeah.
Well, and Neo was saying in that Entertainment Weekly, article too, that he believes, there's no second chance. You have to bring the very best right now. That's it, and it's so true. If you don't have, they got one chance to get through.
And that's the other thing. For people that are aware of like who's working behind the scenes, when you have a panel like J-Lo and Derek and Neo, and you've got behind the scenes, you've got nappy tabs and a lot of top level choreographers helping you out. This is great access to your career. These people, some of them, networking, going to want to work with you.
Yeah,
you have to be on your A+ game
at all times.
Yeah,
for sure.
It speaks to preparation.
Yeah.
So if you spent all those years in the studio, and the times you stayed back when everybody left and all this other stuff, and now you get to that point, and they're seeing you starting at a certain level, then even if you don't make it, the networking in LA, I mean, it's 2 degrees separation.
Stay ready, so you don't have to get ready.
Yeah. So.
And you make a really good point. Rehearsal etiquette, rehearsal behavior does factor into a lot. And I know, especially for So You Think You Can Dance, oftentimes the judges here, like, TK was giving 110% every single week. She shows up, and then they might go, well, Becky's been a little low energy this week. And choreographers talk. It does get back to the judges.
So influential.
It's true. And that's going to matter too. And even if it doesn't, even if they do amazing on stage, it might affect a point or two.
Yeah.
We all get influenced by that. It's just human nature.
Well, I mean, you just speak to like the Jabberwockies. Like, I remember seeing them, and it was just crazy. And now you just see them. They're at Universal Studios for Halloween Horror Nights.
Yes.
Like, they're all over the place.
Yeah.
But it's how they acted and carried themselves in that initial, opening to the world.
It brought them
that
further.
brought them further, because now it's like, okay, well, these guys work hard, so we can insert them anywhere in the world, and we know they're going to deliver. So I mean, that speaks. They've done amazing, because I don't think there's anybody who's traveled to that extent, that type of crew on that level.
Long-term Vegas show.
Yeah.
Right?
Which I'm so mad I wanted to see it. So
To be able
I heard
to
it was
sustain
amazing.
that is.
I feel like they are. I don't know. Going into this, when I found out they were on, I was like, they're going to win. Why is anyone else even showing up? But now I see tonight, and I'm like, boy.
I saw them at the World of Dance Industry Awards, which were in February, and we didn't know who the contestants were at the time. And I asked them, like, how are you keeping your game at an A level when there's all these youngsters coming up? Because some of the original members are still there.
Yeah.
And they have added some younger crew members, obviously, to kind of like give them
Change
that
the flow.
influence, change it up, keep it fresh. But they said they love having people push them because they set the standard, and now people are trying to keep raising that bar.
Yeah, it's all the little technical things too, especially with that particular dance. It's like, maybe 10 years ago, you're seeing the movements, you see like the hips go one way, whatever.
Right.
Now it's just now you're having like the tip of the finger
so
go,
precise.
it's so crazy. Like I'm really.
And just with all the different dance moves of today.
Yeah.
Like, there's so many new ones.
So many dance trends.
My little sister's like, have you heard of this one?
Yeah,
I'm like,
it's like, no.
What is this?
Just do the two-step.
Show me the
Just
YouTube.
do the two-step. Yeah,
The Running Man.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I mean, they're just doing all these different things. So
I will be
you're
interested to see if they're going to bring dance hall.
Ooh, they
I
have
hope so.
to. They have to.
I don't think so, but I hope they do.
have to.
That
I'd
would
have
be
to look.
That would be everything.
crazy.
You know
That would
what?
be everything.
I have the
Crazy
contestant list. If you give me a moment just to like peruse it, or go
That
somewhere
would,
on
that
here.
would be a crazy addition.
It's on their website, too.
Yeah, this
That's
is
awesome.
my phone's not on just because we can't have it on next to the mic, but
Oh, we can't.
I don't think we were supposed to.
Oops.
What? Is it everyone have it on? I'll see if I
Shows
can pull it.
later. My bad. That explains a lot.
Right.
Clicking noise right here.
Yeah, and for people that don't know dance hall style, that they brought it in last year into So You Think You Can Dance for the first time, and I'm like, why haven't we seen this? But there's a huge Jamaican influence.
Oh,
to
gosh.
it, and it's
It's been influenced in the
everywhere.
music in the last maybe 3 years. They call it tropical house, and it's not. It's just dance hall people. It's dance hall.
Definitely.
and it's amazing to see.
Anyways. But yeah, it's been around for decades. It's taken from Africa. It's broken down. It's it's made from the people. It's just crazy. On the flip side, if you've never seen it before, you will see a girl on her head doing some things where you think she could be doing it with somebody else. It is kind of raunchy, but
It's
to
sexy.
be able,
But it
to
makes
be
you
able to
feel
do that
Yeah.
is you have to appreciate the way. I mean, I
just a different
appreciate
level of skill.
pole dancers.
Yeah.
Like that stuff's not
and
easy
it's-
either.
That's
So.
It's strength.
work of art.
I do have I found it, believe it or not.
Yes.
Yay! I know, I try to be prepared.
Give the
It's
people,
hard to scroll
give
through.
the people what they want.
Okay, dance hall is but it's a fusion with swing Latino. They're really good, by the way, swing Latino. So it's a salsa dance hall, sort of hip hop, and they're in the team division.
That sounds
I just
great.
see
It's crazy, but
Stu's
team
foiling the
division, you
hips.
guys. We're gonna see Irish.
Juicy.
We're gonna see Irish step. We are gonna see tap, jazz funk with
Yes.
Ian Eastwood. You guys, Ian Eastwood is, gosh,
I love him.
I love him too. All right, let me just look and see in the junior division. We have a lot of hip hop coming, some more contemporary, some tap,
love me some tap.
and ballroom, ballet. Kaylee Ware, I know her pretty well. She is dancing with her partner Brandon Talbot. She is an exquisite dancer and the youngest dancer ever accepted into School of American Ballet.
Wow.
Oh, she's good.
So she's
Who is the
amazing.
dancer because the last dancer, what's her name again?
Diana.
Diana.
She reminded me of the dancer who was in, Sia, the girl with the hair.
Maddie Ziegler.
Yes. She reminded me of her, not the exact, but just
Some of the movements.
the movements and how it was so fluid and she was able to convey the song.
Yes.
Same. That's
Emotional
Emotion,
maturity is
my
it's
gosh.
very, very tough when you're young. Upper division, I just want to give you guys an idea of what we're going to see. Hip hop, cabaret ballroom, as I was talking about.
Yes.
Flamenco. Memphis juking. I love this.
Oh.
Wow.
Yeah, another version of
That's
hip hop.
awesome.
Another that big wide umbrella of hip hop. I'm kind of glad that we're breaking
Yeah.
it down a little bit more.
good.
Urban dance, which is what Keone and Mari called their
Beautiful.
style. Poppin', we're going to see some Poppin' from Femme Fatale. They're good too. They're out of Los Angeles. So we've got a lot of really good things ahead.
Is that belly dancing too? Okay.
Belly dancing.
Yeah, belly
That's
dancing.
Am I missing? Oh, we have belly
Wow,
dance.
they are
Now
bringing in
that's-
every
everything.
That's a
style.
lot.
Every
And
style.
this is what it's going to be interesting. Like if the Irish step dancers or the belly dancers, if those start making it to the upper level, because we do assume like contemporary is going to make it through,
Right.
hip hop's
Of
going to make it
course.
through.
Right,
There's
right.
going to be
The
a tap
basic,
group,
yeah.
But I want to start seeing some of those
The different
fringe
elements.
styles,
Yeah.
like kind of make it to the
Flamenco.
main street.
Yeah.
That flamenco's amazing.
Like that's amazing.
Well, see, that's where that emotion comes in because,
They gotta
like, I
sell it.
mean, ballet is. I believe I took ballet for 10 years, and you know, when people think of it, people think it's boring or whatever,
But it's the
when-
basic.
yeah, it's the basic. I think it's the basis of everything,
Everything.
and then you kind of expand out.
Yeah.
But
So much
if you
discipline.
apply the emotion to that,
To it.
and then you insert the point, because you can't be. I feel you can't be on the stage without the point.
Oh no.
And you do all of that,
Yeah.
It's next level.
and have the right song.
It's why Misty Copeland is the superstar
That's
that
exactly
she
who
is.
I was
gosh.
Yes.
thinking about. Have you seen her documentary?
I
Yes.
have. Amazing. I love
So
her.
great.
And
I
I've
love her.
seen her perform twice live, and it is one of those things that you can't take your eyes off of her, and you're not focused in on the technique or the line or anything else. I mean, they're all beautiful, and she's a gorgeous dancer, but it's what's happening
yes,
here.
you don't need the
Face.
pomp and circumstance.
Yeah.
It's
You
just-
don't.
It
You
delivers.
feel it, and it's why she sells out
Yeah.
when they're here at Dorothy Chandler Pavilion, or they sell out. In New York. And she is a superstar that we have not seen since Mikhail Baryshnikov. She is a household name. You can talk to someone and be like, "Do you know Misty Copeland?" They're like,
course.
"Oh,
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
Under Armour." Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
That
even
is
people
amazing
not in
thing.
dance
No.
know who
No,
she is.
yeah.
Yeah.
For
that
sure.
is an amazing accomplishment.
Her
So
story, crazy.
Yeah.
That's a
Yes.
great lineup, though. We have a lot to look forward to.
Yeah.
So
Wow.
yeah, I mean, and there's a ton of contestants I didn't even read off.
my
so
goodness.
and the divisions they're stacked. They are
I kind of
definitely
want to
stacked.
fast forward to that dance hall.
I know. I
combination
want to see
what
that.
really looks like.
Yeah.
But we'll,
And a lot of the groups too, you're going to see some more familiar faces from So You Think You Can Dance, people that have been on other dance shows. Fiction's in the mix. He was the winner in season 9. No,
So-
season 10. Sorry.
so that's what some of us were discussing after the show. What do you think of, because some of these people, they've been in the game forever. They've made money. I don't know if they're,
Sure.
millionaires. I'm assuming, like, for instance, like Jabberwockies. Well, there's so many members, so you never
Right,
know.
yeah.
But I'm assuming they're living, they're not
decent.
living on
They're
the corner.
established.
Yeah.
Very established.
So, what do you think as far as competition wise, should there have been like a base level, like you should be a pro for at least 5 years or less than 5 years, or, what would that, because then it's kind of skewed when somebody's been, on the professional circuit
Sure.
for 10 years.
It
and
makes you wonder
somebody's-
how
yeah.
they can stack up against one
Exactly.
another. Absolutely.
Well, I think for the junior division, it's harder. Some of these kids are working professionally, but some of them are fresh on the scene.
Right.
But if you look at the adults and team division, these are all
Well known.
well-known,
Yeah.
Yes.
top of their game.
Yeah.
Around the world. This is not just a U.S. competition.
Yeah,
this
like,
is a
you
global
know them.
competition, and I think that's what they're looking for. They want this to be the Olympics of dance, so they're like,
they're getting the best.
bring it
of
on.
everything.
And maybe there is some of that, especially in the junior division, undiscovered talent, untapped.
Because it's almost like, in the Olympics, you had at one point, I think it was like in the 90s, where, the U.S. basketball team would send in, their juniors, some guys from
Yeah,
college.
yeah.
All of a sudden, it's like, we want to win, and now they're sending NBA
Right,
players.
right.
Right.
The
And
big dogs.
There's no way.
Well, because
Like-
some of these people were from online submissions, so it makes you wonder
Right.
how do they compete against the
Yeah.
Jabberwockies? But that's what's so amazing about their structures.
Yeah.
Their judging criteria is going to be fair.
And I
believe.
think we're going to be surprised at the winner. I
I think so too.
don't think it's going to be the Jabberwockies.
I was gonna
It's
say
gonna
I don't
be-
think it's gonna be.
It'll be an underdog. I
Somebody
have to
we've
believe.
already seen. Like I feel like it's gonna be
Well, yeah.
somebody we're like, whoa.
Because we've seen that in the Olympics. You sit there and you go and you think, oh, this person's going to win this gold
Right.
and that's it. And then they falter. They have a bad day. And then
yeah.
all of a sudden, that person out of nowhere just has the most perfect day ever.
my
Michelle
gosh.
Kwan. Michelle Kwan to me
yes.
still does not have, will never have a gold medal, which is astonishing.
Astonishing.
Yeah.
Yep.
'Cause she's
But Sarah Hughes, she was in fourth,
yeah.
skated all the way to gold. all in that moment.
Well, and it could be 0.3 that separates our first and second place too. So just like in the
and
Olympics.
the way they're averaging these scores, I was like, these could be really close in the end.
We have 9 weeks to see it all.
This is exciting though. I mean, I just feel like I feel the energy of it. It excites me as a dance fan. I feel like we came off of a really uneven Dancing with the Stars too, so I kind of needed this like little swift kick in the butt to just be like, don't you worry, World of Dance has your back, baby.
That's right.
That's how I feel.
Yeah, the Dancing with the Stars was wonky.
It was.
Yeah, I mean, it made good for television, but definitely there was, and then the 3-hour finale, like, dude,
Too much. Way too much. Yeah. Bring it back to dance, which is what World of Dance is doing. So.
Right.
Heck yeah.
And I will. I want to talk about it in 9 weeks. I've got to remember that this same question. I want to like revisit it, all of us, just to see, are we going to see, is this show going to influence other dance shows on TV? So we'll have to see how it plays out. Yeah. So maybe it's going to be its own unique, fresh thing, or are other shows going to be like, oh, I like that.
Right. Let me take that. Take that.
Well, the J-Lo in herself will bring. She's been in. I don't know if she's been like setting us. Now that I think right about it, this show's the timing is she set us up because last year, a little bit after summer, she was seen with Drake, and she was with Drake.
Yeah.
Doing whatever, having sushi in Malibu. And then now she's with A-Rod, and now we conveniently see her in all these places with A-Rod. We never see her kids, which is good. I'm not saying that we need to see her, but, you know, it's all very
Strategic.
timed.
Very
And she was
strategic.
in the news, like, well, full disclosure, I work for TMZ. So she was on TMZ, like some picture or something, somewhere in the world. She was Snapchatting her and A-Rod in the Bahamas. Like, now that I look at it and now we're here...
Kudos to you, girl.
Bravo.
That's how you do
And
it.
I didn't even realize it.
That's
I'm
how
like,
you do
why
it.
is she doing all this? She's J-Lo. She does not need to be Snapchatting her and A-Rod. It doesn't make any sense.
She knows.
She knows what she's
Yeah,
doing.
she
knows what she's
hoodwinked.
She's a boss
2017.
woman.
And
we get
she
the
delivered
award.
a great first
Yeah.
episode.
Yeah, she did.
All right,
She
you guys.
did. Premiere.
Yeah, well, we do have to wrap up. I know we could be here for like another hour talking dance, but we're going to be here for another 9 weeks, and we're so glad that you guys could join us. Tell us all where we can find you, TK.
Well, you guys can find me on everything at TK Trinidad, and also you can check me out on TMZ.
Good first show, Becky.
Yes, it was amazing. Thank you, ladies. You all can find me at Becky Sattero on Instagram and Facebook.
Thanks for having me, guys. I won't be back next time, but I'll be tuning in because I'm like hooked now. You can find me at Rayven Nicole on all social media channels.
All right, thanks, Rayven, for coming by. And I'm Kristyn Burtt. You can find me at Kristyn Burtt on Twitter and the Kristyn Burtt on Instagram. And my dance show is starting next Tuesday, June 6th. To the Point with Kristyn Burtt, and I'll tell you about I'll spoil the guest on Twitter at some point this week.
Oh my gosh, hanging out with Heather. She just doesn't even.
No big deal. Derek Hough.
I know.
Derek.
Right.
Derek.
I was
Next
with-
is gonna be Barack. We're just homies.
I was just with Kim Herjavec. I took her class today and then interviewed her, so that's coming up on Dance Network.tv.
Awesome.
You guys, we will see you next week. Thanks for joining us.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.